as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix.
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix. Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbih. We make the world go round.
The Federal High Court of Abuja has declared the NBBF Caretaker Committee illegal, which was actually, being inaugurated by the Sport Ministry at this point in time. Italian FA investigating 71 million euros that was used to transfer Victor Osimhen to Napoli. At this point in time, crisis for Ronald Koeman. He has been sacked as the coach of Barcelona at this point, where we have the Special Eagles crying for help ahead of the AFCON. These and many more will come to you today. This is how we welcome you for yet another edition of Sport Orbih right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayeni, and I'll be your host for today. As you can see with me, Alpha is in the studio so that we get to strike together at this beautiful Thursday evening. How are you doing?
Pleasure to be here once again.
Of course, believe
Because,
for Barcelona fans, remaining Manchester United fans,
so one of those things.
to have a sense of relief too.
Yeah, Koeman is also a Barcelona legend in every right. In fact, Barca's first Champions League was an extra time free kick taken by Ronald Koeman, who scored it. So, if you're sacked, I don't think a last minute only tapping that won United their second Champions League should be enough to keep him in the job.
Of course, let's see how it pans out. That will play Tottenham later this weekend. Hopefully, maybe he might actually get to lose his job at the end of the Tottenham's match, or maybe extending his stay.
I think, irrespective of what happens, from reliable sources, I've got his time is up.
All the way from London.
Yeah, his time is up actually, but they just want him to sort of leave easily, not like disgrace him out of the job. Just want him to leave, but his time is up by and large.
Okay. Move first to the story of the day at this point in time, where the leadership crisis, rocking the Nigerian, handball federation has actually taken a new twist at this point in time, where court has declared the caretaker committee of the NBBF, which was inaugurated by the Sports Ministry, illegal in that particular one. So, Alpha, Sports Ministry, they came out last week. They inaugurated about 13, members of that particular, federation. Those members were the members which their tenures have already expired, and they were about going for another re-election, but court, injunction actually stopped that election from going on at this point in time. And the Sports Ministry went to actually, inaugurate a 13-man committee in that particular one. So, looking at it now, court has said no, this committee is illegal. They should not function. They should not even come there to any badminton function at this point in time.
Like yesterday while we were talking about some other crises in other federations, I think we briefly mentioned about the badminton also, and lo and behold, only to hear that court has completely, declared that the caretaker committee is actually illegal. So the way this is now, look, this could be giving some ideas to other federations who have been running with a caretaker committee, because before you know it now, some other groups who are not satisfied with the outcome of this caretaker committee, what stops them from also going to court? Tomorrow now, other groups will come up and say that, okay, the elections that have been held, both have been inaugurated, but some caretaker committees as it is were actually illegal. So, they too might decide to also go to court to follow in what the Badminton Federation has done. Because truly, if a court has declared that the caretaker committee of the BFN is illegal, so it means that all the caretaker committees that were set by the Ministry of Sport some time ago, by extension,
it was maybe due to the a crisis rocking the Badminton
that's
Federation.
what I'm saying. That's why I said when things happen like this, other federations
of course,
exactly
of
we
course.
want to take a lead from this to say, okay, if this happened in badminton, we too can also test it in court.
Definitely.
Who knows if tomorrow now the MEBF, someone might rise up and say, okay, all true that the Musa Keda-led committee was an illegal one. So it's like
to the crisis
exactly.
In the
so it's like starting afresh all over again, going back to the drawing board. But like we've said this over and over again, hardly is there a time when elections are held, even in sports federations in this country, where crisis exactly will come out of it. So, and looking at the bigger picture, that's why even when you come to the national side of things, election hold and there are crises because federations are going this way. So let's see how this thing resolved. This is a federal high court judgment. So of course the matter is still subject to appeal. So let's see if the other faction will decide to appeal it. And if they don't get a satisfactory judgment, might still want to go all the way to the highest court in the land. But I think all these matters of taking, one faction taking one other to the court, I really think it's time they sheath their swords, find a way of, resolving their issues, and so that the federation can move forward.
Of course, just to let our viewers know that why the Badminton Federation and court is that they actually accused the former president, talking about Francis Orbih, of misappropriation of funds and all that. So that actually led to the court case. They were supposed to do their election during the federation election that was held in September 30th, but due to that court injunction at this point in time, the election could not actually go on. And at this point, they have been in crisis. And the sports ministry is still supporting one faction than the other. So it's just so sad at this point in time. But the court case will come up tomorrow, right here in Abuja, and hopefully I'll keep an eye and know and actually get to see the new development action emanating from the Nigerian Badminton Federation. Away from badminton, we head straight to another a crisis rocking a federation. We're talking about basketball, never ended at this point in time, where the Congress are saying that this election must actually go on, and the electoral committee, of course, and the electoral committee are actually insisting that since the Congress are saying we should go on with the election, then definitely we are going to go on with the election. But at this point, so sad that the sports ministry are saying, hey, hold on, don't go for this election due to the crisis. Let's actually end all the the bad blood amongst the stakeholders before we can actually have any election. But the Congress are saying they are going to hold the election at Benite, Edo State, come October 30th at this point. But some rumors are actually coming in that the Sport Ministry wants to inaugurate another electoral committee for the NBBF at this point.
Like I said, this NBBF crisis, 4 years in making, has, at the point where you think everything is about to be resolved, a new dimension into the crisis comes over again. At first, when we heard that elections were going to be held originally some 2 weeks ago, before we knew it, elections, when other federations were holding the elections, they postponed that to give more time to resolve issues. Now the time has come again. Elections are just this weekend, and only yesterday or 2 days back, the minister came to say no, suspend the elections, while the MEBF, Musa-led committee, he said no, we must go ahead with it. And before he knew it, his caretaker committee was disbanded.
Of course,
and we thought, okay, that should at least
send a signal,
and put some sense into their heads. But today now we are hearing that irrespective of what the ministry is saying, whether the ministry likes it or not, whether anybody likes it or not, on come 30th of October, the elections will hold.
But in your own case, Alpha, do you think federation going standing on their own, not under the sport ministry, them being autonomous, is it the best way to go at this point? for sports federations?
No, normally the way it should be, federations are supposed to operate completely independently of any government interference. But because of the way the Nigerian situation is, who funds the federation?
It's the government.
The government. So you can't.
But the government does not fund day-to-day running of the
No,
federation.
not day-to-day federation.
They get to fund
what I'm saying is,
if you are taking some athletes to go and represent the country outside.
yes, exactly. But what happens
they
is,
get to fund that.
yes,
and
what
all
happens
that.
is, even when the Ministry of Sports goes to defend its budget at the National Assembly, you know, monies are allocated. Some of money has been allocated to all of these federations through the Ministry of Sport, and the Sports Ministry are the ones who will have to go there before the lawmakers to defend this budget. So, if money allocated to you passes through me, it means at every point in time I should have a say in the affairs of how you run. It might not be day to day, but every now and then there will always be that interference until we get to a point where every federation can source its funds independently, can run independently, and not ask the government for a dime. That is when there won't be any government interference. Because as long as anybody who, like they say, who pays the piper dictates the tune. Yes. So that's what is happening here. Because even NFF, as independent as it is to some extent, it gets to a point where the Ministry of Sport still intervenes on some issues, and the NFF even still gives in. Because when push comes to shove, you still run cap in hand to the Ministry of Sport, who will now go to the government and say, okay, this is what is going on. We need some. So, but that's the issue. Until we get to a point where these federations can source their funds, run independently of the Ministry of Sport, I'm sorry that this kind of situation will continue, and the ministry will always have a say or interference in the running of the federation.
Of course, too bad. When the world body of each sports federation will actually say we don't want any interference in your country, but the government also still find a way.
The thing is, the world bodies there's little they can do, because they 2 years from time to time give some sort of grants to the federation, but it's never enough. We still fresh in our minds the case of AFN, where IF gave some money and money disappeared into thin air and all of that. So these federations, the work body, also does some sort of funding, but sometimes they don't intervene too much because they look at the countries where these federations operate, and to some extent tries to respect the laws of those countries, not to really interfere too much in their affairs, really.
Of course, just so sad. You see how that pans out. The case of the MBBF, October 30th is just 2 days away on Saturday, and let's see what really happened by Monday. We should actually give our viewers all the download, coming out in and out from the Nigerian Basketball Federation. Away from that, we head straight to football at this point in time. Victor Osimhen is in the news at this point, where the Italian FA said they want to investigate Victor Osimhen at 71 million, euro Napoli transfer. That he was actually, he was transferred from Wolfsburg from Germany to Napoli for a record fee of 71 million.
No, from Lille, actually.
From Lille, from Lille,
France.
Lille, France, 71 million euro. That is, as it is now, is the most expensive player in Africa, and the Italian FA says we want to investigate Victor Osimhen's 71 million transfer. But looking at his performance for Napoli so far, is there anything that the Italian FA should actually go and investigate?
No, the thing is, what a lot of these federations in countries where things work properly do is.
Hope they are not being racist there.
No, I don't think that's the case. Even right from when this Osimhen deal was dragging on, the deal was shrouded in some bit of controversy and secrecy, all of that. Some reports said that the contract was overinflated. There's some underground dealings that went into the signing of the contract. So basically, that's what they are investigating. They actually want to know what actually transpired, what went behind the scenes between the agents, because the truth is, in transfer matters, all we see is the surface, but a lot goes behind the scenes that a lot of times, a lot of people are not privy to. Agents, clubs, and lawyers, and all of that are involved in a lot of shady things every now and then, to make sure that a contract pulls through.
I just want to ask.
Yeah.
Does he want the 71 million euros?
No, that's left for Lille. That's what Lille sold him for. But what the Italian FA are trying to investigate is what were the underhand dealings that went in. Because some other reports said that actually the deal was not worth that amount, was not up to that amount. But because of some odd things that went on behind the scenes, the contract had to be inflated to get to the point of 71 million euros. So I think for now it's good that we just watch them, see how they carry out their investigation. Of course, they've been speaking with some officials of Lille too, who were part of that deal, and of course officials of Napoli also. So at the end of the day, I'm sure by the time they are done doing their investigation, they'll definitely come out with the report of their findings. So until then, let's just keep our fingers crossed and see what comes out of the investigation.
Just to let you know that Victor Osimhen has been fired with all cylinders for Napoli. He has been one in the rescuing team so far, and the fans are actually loving his performance at this point in time. But for now, we'll go for a short break. When we come back, Leon Balogun has been rated third highest tackler in the European League, and also we look at the scene actually coming from Spain at this point in time, where Ronald Koeman has been sacked by Barcelona. And also we talk about the heaviest defeat that was inflicted to Bayern Munich by Borussia Mönchengladbach yesterday in the German Cup. This and many more will come after the short break.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome from that short break. You're still Sport Orbih right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. Leon Balogun has been rated the highest third, tackler in the European League at this point in time. Is that what can you say about his performance so far? He has had a good 9 tackles, and in the Europa League, we saw their team, winning 2-0 in the last match. At this point in time, he's behind Sparta a player and also a sub player, which they both have 11 tackles each. At this point in time, as the scoring goes, he scored for Nigeria, he also scored for Rangers in the last game.
Yeah, the question I even want to ask is this a criteria for judging who the best, a good defender is?
Of course.
Tackles. When you talk about tackles, I was expecting if I'd seen things like highest number of blocks, or highest number of interceptions, or highest number of clean sheets when he was playing. But tackle is just a matter of someone bringing the ball close to you, and
you get it at the right time.
Exactly. So really, I think in today's football, we statistics I think have actually taken over a lot of things that are actually important on the field of play, and you see a lot of players being judged by statistics these days as against the actual performance. So if we are to judge by tackles, for instance, is a David Pavelka or a Luan Perez, for instance, if he goes to a big side, are you saying, for instance, a Bayern or a Chelsea, will he be signed based on the basis of how many tackles he has made this season? No. So I think sometimes these things are just overhyped and all of that, just maybe to make the news. Because for me, I don't really see a big deal really in being one of the highest tackler in Europe or in any league. I think I would have loved to see if I've seen that, okay, In 3 games he has played for Rangers.
His contributions and all that. His
Contributions,
rate.
exactly. You know, the number of clean sheets he had kept. You know, the blocks, number of ball recoveries, and all of that. How many tackles did he even make that prevented a goal, and all of that, and not just lumping everybody together and saying, okay, he made 9 tackles, and so we rely too much on statistics that at the end of the day do not
count for nothing.
Yes, don't count for
nothing. Of course,
this
can actually inspire him to do more at this point.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria, we need is our technical ability. We'll be playing Central Africa. We'll be playing Cape Verde and also Liberia in our last World Cup preliminary rounds next month. So this should actually put him in the right frame of mind coming into those 2 games. Going forward. Away from that, we head straight to the news coming from the Special Eagles at this point in time. That he's talking about the Nigerian national team where they are crying for help ahead of the Nations Cup in Tanzania at this point in time. And the team captain, talking about Olalekan Shafaruddin, he's saying that the team is yet to open camp and due to lack of funds at this point in time, and they are expected to travel to travel to Tanzania for the Nations Cup right there, which will start on the 5th of December. At this point in time, they're not in camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad one, really. You get to ask yourself.
The competition is starting 26th to 5th of December.
Up till now, no mention of when camp will open or any of that. No mention of funding. No mention of players who even be in camp. So everything is not really properly organized. So are we going to say now that is it because of the situation they are in, not by their own making? So I think an athlete is an athlete, irrespective of whatever disability he has. So I think the same way we treat our able-bodied athletes, the same way we treat the Super Eagles, should be the same way that we treat these athletes. Because at the end of the day, they are going for an international competition to represent Nigeria, not going to represent themselves. So I think the Ministry of Sport or the NFF, as it may be, or whatever body is responsible for these special Eagles should actually intervene.
Somehow they are still the baby of the NFF and all that.
Exactly. So the NFF should really step up to the plate and take care of their responsibility and actually use this medium to appeal to the NFF to actually come to the aid of the Special Eagles.
Also, the sports ministry
also
played a critical role in
role too. So but a situation where they are running from one media house to the other to cry out that this and this has not yet been done, I think is not good enough, not good for the image of the NFF, not good for the image of the ministry, and by extension, not even good for the image of the country. So I really use this forum to appeal to those in charge to look into the plight of Special Eagles.
But it's also sad that funds, made for competition like this, it gets to drag. Maybe it will be on the same week the competition is starting. Maybe that is when they will now start running up and down to see to do people
fire brigade approach. Exactly. Then people are not properly prepared, and you expect them to. And that's the thing. So it's always been a Nigerian thing. You don't prepare players or athletes properly for a competition, but you expect them to go there and come back with laurels. These things don't happen overnight. They don't happen by wishful thinking or by magic. You have to put concrete measures and actually take practical steps to ensure that these things come to pass.
Away from that, let's go straight to the foreign scene at this point in time, where Ronald Koeman has been sacked as the coach of Barcelona after 14 months of stay at the Camp Nou at this point in time. Just so sad that he was sacked yesterday after
lost to Rayo
Vallecano. So sad that this is the third La Liga game that they're actually losing, straight game they are losing, and it's time that it was time for the management of the club to call it quit with Ronald Koeman at this point in time. They lost against Bayern Munich at the El Clasico, right there at the Camp Nou. Against Madrid, right there at the Camp Nou. So it's also sad.
Not forgetting that earlier in the season they also lost to Atletico.
Of course, I think where the problem actually started for Coleman was when he actually he came out to say that he doesn't need Luis Suarez in the Barcelona team. I
No,
feel
you see,
that was just the biggest,
if you followed Coleman since when he was appointed Barca coach, the large section of the Barca faithful were never in support of his appointment. Yes, fair enough, he's a Barcelona legend, all of that. I mean, one of the highest scoring defenders, not just in Barca, but of all time and all of that, has a rich history with Barcelona. But right from his appointment, it was very clear that he was not going to last long in that job, because from when he even came in, somehow he seemed to have lost control of even the dressing room. Some players had complained even before Lionel Messi even left, had complained of his style of coaching, how he prepares his team and all of that. So his sack was always in making. He was eminent, absolutely. So and really a lot of the Barca faithful didn't see the club moving forward since Coleman took charge. So I wasn't surprised. In fact, I even thought that he was going to be sacked immediately after the Atletico match. But after that match, the club came out to pass a vote of confidence on him. But I remember on this show I said that usually in football, once you're being given a vote of confidence, it simply means that your time is almost up in the club.
The doors are open for you to
exactly. So unfortunately for him, the defeat last night finally put the nail in his coffin, and so far Barca at this point of the season, Barca are at 9th on the table. Just after 10 games,
15 points from after 10 games.
Exactly,
just so sad.
9th on the table after 10 games. So that goes to tell you that you take something special. Whoever is coming in for Barca to even finish in the top 4.
Of course,
I'm telling you, because the way it is. But right now they have a couple of names outlined. But right now, the name on top of the list is actually their former captain Xavi Hernandez, who is currently in Saudi Arabia, but he's highly tipped to take over the job for now on a caretaker basis. But from what I heard, that who they actually have their eye on is the Aya coach Ten Hag, who they hope that Xavi might come on a caretaker basis. Then maybe by the end next season they might bring in coach. But
this season is just starting.
It's just starting.
So
but for me,
you need a good coach to come into the mix.
Yeah, but for me, I think Xavi for now, is he mature enough to take over Barca? Well, that's another question altogether, because yes, fine. Since his sojourn in Saudi Arabia, he's been able to win 3 titles so far in Saudi Arabia. But come on, that was Saudi Arabia. Same for a certain Ole too. Won back-to-back titles in Norway with Molde. But of course, we all can see what's happening with him currently. So Barca, I think, did the right thing. They didn't consider if he was a Barca legend, like I said, they will score the winning goal. A section of the Mayan fans were saying sacking Ole will be disrespect. He won all the Champions League and all of that.
Of course, no basis. He's not going to be in the job for
he won the He won the Champions League as a player, not a coach.
Yes.
That you did a tapping, that gave you a 2-1 advantage over a Bayern Munich team. I don't think it's enough credential for you to present and say this is enough for you to take charge of a team like United. So, good luck to Coleman, and not forgetting that he was doing well with the Netherlands team when he had to Everton. No, I mean after Everton, before he came to Barca, he was of Holland.
Yes,
until brought him in and he left that job, and let's see how it goes.
He will definitely get a new job. Newcastle are looking for a coach.
Yeah, he will. I mean, he's done well with mid-level teams. But some coaches, I think some teams are, for a certain point in their careers, are a really huge step for them. So I think that's what exactly happened to him.
Of course, away from the news with Barcelona and Coleman, we head straight to the England at this point in time, where West Ham actually ended Man City's 4-year run as a Carabao Cup winners. Yesterday we saw them, the Hammers actually booked their quarterfinal place after defeating Manchester City. Also, Liverpool also booked their quarterfinal ticket, and also Tottenham also booked their quarterfinal ticket. That game against Man City and West Ham, it actually ended 0-0 on the regulation time. But West Ham actually defeated, Manchester City on penalties 5-3 in that particular one. Despite the arrays of stars, being paraded by Pep Guardiola, but they couldn't actually hold their own to qualify to the last 8 of the tournament. As it is now, we are going to have a new champion.
Absolutely.
When it comes to our Club World Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, they won it 4 times straight. I mean, at the point they made that competition their own. 4 times straight winners is no mean feat at all. And I really didn't expect they to go out against West Ham, but I mean, this is football. These things happen.
Of course.
They play all 90 minutes. It was 0-0 until the Hammers actually won 5 penalty. And interesting to know that in the shootout, while Man City lost to West Ham, he surprisingly scored all of them are winning that match 5-3. So the draws will be held on Saturday, and let's see where West Ham will kick it off from there.
Of course, teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, West Ham, in even Leicester City are in the final 8. So expect to see mouth-watering, fixtures when the fixtures is being done on a Saturday. Before we go on the show today, quickly let's tell you that Barcelona, Bayern Munich, actually suffered the biggest loss since 1978. That's talking about 43 years ago. They were beaten black and blue by a certain Borussia Mönchengladbach during the German Cup that was played yesterday. 5-0 defeat. What a way!
Yeah, I mean,
it's to a team actually giving people 5-0, 7-0 now.
Every now and then these surprises happen in football. I mean, for it to happen to Bayern 43 years ago tells you the kind of team they are, how they feel. And surprisingly, this isn't even the first time in how many years now that they'll go without even scoring a goal in a match. So a good one for Mönchengladbach. I didn't see that game, so I really know what special team they did. But I mean, it's football. Sometimes these things happen in football, no matter who you play against, no matter how solid your team is. Every now and then, one team just comes in and just rubbishes a record that you've kept for decades and generations. And so Mönchengladbach did that, and thankfully enough, he was in the German Cup. So if he was in the Bundesliga, maybe a different ball game.
But records are meant to be
absolutely
meant
to be broken. So the problem with a lot of the Bayern fans was that this would have been against maybe the traditional heavyweight, maybe a Borussia Dortmund, a Schalke 04, a Frankfurt, for instance. What a Mönchengladbach, not just 1, 2, 3, but 5. So that's a huge scoreline, and Baka, I hope they'll be able to pick themselves up from this one, bounce back, and concentrate on the Bundesliga.
Of course, this is what we call the curtain for today. I must thank Alpha, our second partner, on the show today.
Always a pleasure.
Of course, our viewers, it was nice, having you, stay with us right from the beginning of the show to this point. We say we should make a return with us tomorrow for the last edition of this week with yet another interesting and bigger package of Sports Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. But for now, we're saying bye-bye for now. Do enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Olawale. I'm saying God bless you and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.